Wake up, America! Wake up! Wake up! Come on now, you got to get out of that nightmare. It's about time that we actually made our dreams come true. We're going to talk about Jasper's Gateway, which is an economic recovery program. And basically what we're going to talk about is connecting a rail to two major cities, and starting out in Michigan, Detroit, all the way to Chicago, and adding 40 little cities to that during that process. By the way, this is going to increase our job count by approximately 150,000 jobs initially, and almost 650,000 in the first 18 months. We're going to talk about what states that'll affect today and how that's going to be insulated. Basically, we're going to duplicate the process of building a rail from Detroit to Chicago, adding in 40 cities, and then doing 12 other units across the country. If you take a look at that, what we're talking about is Buffalo, Albany, Cleveland to Philadelphia, Memphis to Knoxville, Atlanta to Tampa, Houston to Dallas, Kansas City to St. Louis, Minneapolis to Madison, Sioux Falls to Kansas City, Salt Lake to Denver, Seattle to Portland, Sacramento to Los Angeles, and Phoenix to El Paso. Those are in 24 different states and 24 major cities connecting our manufacturing facilities. Okay, pull back. Now what that means is this. The little cities spawns entrepreneurialism, and using our local entrepreneurs, we create a great environment for low to moderate income people as well as the community itself. Our position is to educate and train or re-educate our workforce on a military day-based program while providing private schools for the children and in affordable housing with all the new technologies of the 21st century. If you go to my website at www.littlecities.net, you'll find at Technology Advancements a video on the rail system. This rail would go up and down the major highways. In 1961, Eisenhower made mass transit right-of-ways on all the expressways. It started out in Detroit, Michigan, by the way, when they laid the first road. That was on Woodward. Now, if we take a look over here, we'll see what states are affected by this program in the first 24 months. Basically, we're looking at Michigan, Illinois, Ohio, Pennsylvania, Iowa, Wisconsin, Missouri, Florida, Georgia, Colorado, Utah, Tennessee, Oregon, Nebraska, New York, California, Washington, South Dakota, and Texas. Now, what does that mean to you? 650,000 jobs in the first 18 months, 1.9 million jobs in 3 years, and 3+ million jobs in 5 years. How do we do that? We get the federal government to use some of that pork to initiate an infrastructure system and educational program to build the little cities where we'll leverage to build the rail system. By the way, in the first 4 years, we'll cut our oil reliance by 21%. And in 4 years, in 1 decade, over 40%. What that means to you economically is the US dollar becomes worth more. Now, how do we plan on doing this? Well, we want the government to use that $45 billion, pay for little city development. Meanwhile, we leverage that little city. And in return, we build the rail system. And we get a 20% interest. We'll provide the government with 20% of the public company. The idea of the little cities is to take all the entrepreneurs, Tier 1, Tier 2, and Tier 3 workforce, residents, and provide them value by providing them common shares. Now, this is on the stock market, so therefore it's transparent to you. And any profit and revenue streams made by this operation, development across the United States, will become dividend checks to you on a yearly basis as a taxpayer. Based on what you paid is what you get as a dividend. Now, the beauty of this is you become a part of what's going on. Should you decide to sell your shares or purchase any shares, then you get to value what we do when we create it. Just to give an example of how that would work. If you were to purchase $10,000 in Walmart when we first started working, today that share value would be worth $23 million. We intend on building 2,500 little cities across the United States in 1 decade. Now, that also means that we're going to have a railroad coming from California to New York. Now, this independent rail system works on an IP protocol system. In other words, it just stops at the exit that you program into it. And it travels at 200 to 300 miles an hour. That means you can get from Detroit to Chicago in 45 minutes. Today, it takes you a whole day if you fly out in the airport, but we can provide national security, we can provide the highest internet applications, quality products, and distribution at no problem. Now, in that process of building this rail, one of the conditions that we'll put in is that the corporations or American companies will get a reduction rate of 80%. In doing so, they must provide medical, dental, and education to their workforce. That means you, America, because they're so profitable, they now become world competitive. Now in little cities, education, private education is free. Medical and dental is free. We provide you Social Security through stock ownership. You can't lose with it. The beauty of this is that you say, okay, so what are we going to do with the U.S. government? Simple. The U.S. government has to sell out their 20% interest in 20 years. And when they sell it out, they must pay off the national debt. Why do we make them do that? Why do we incorporate that in the law? Simple. That means they pay off the national debt in no time flat. And probably have some surplus. That's kind of a nice thing for us because we can use that to now manufacture new technology. In fact, one of the things that we're looking to do is to spin new manufacturing jobs out of the little city on a new technology. We will be providing research and development. We'll be providing various applications that new corporations and companies and manufacturing can be produced. Now, uniquely, since we started in Detroit, Michigan, and you notice these are all junctures. As we stretch out, this will all go through the Midwest manufacturing from the very beginning. So within 5 to 6 years, we'll have the whole Midwest connected. Your major exporting operations. In 10 years, we'll have the whole country connected. The point here is that these new manufacturings are high-paying jobs. We're not talking about low-paying jobs. We're talking about high-paying jobs. The little city spurs an entertainment atmosphere, and we focus on basically magnifying the big cities, whatever they are. The infrastructure already exists, but implying 21st century technology. What does that mean? Well, we're using the same road infrastructure that already exists. The only difference is now you can go 6 times faster and at 80% less, plus less reliance on oil. Meanwhile, the car companies can design their new cars, as we know they're coming out in 2013 with hydrogen cars. This particular rail system uses solar, hydrogen, and electromagnetics to power it. Therefore, for you, that means these new cars have places where they can actually pump their hydrogen. Uh-oh. What does that mean? That means we'll probably be, by 2020, 65% less reliant on oil, completely using renewable energies, helping out the world and the economy. Why? Because the world is based on us. If our economy is good, they're good. All we're really doing is taking back what we did in 1950 and 1960 with manufacturing and industrialized age. We're changing it to information and computer age. And that means you win. That's why I want you to really seriously consider talking to your politicians about Jasper's Gateway. So sure, enough of them that want to do something like this because they want to be reelected into office. And we need to keep that Congress mixed. Additionally, this is not something. That's good. I was going to go in.